Hey, folks, I'm Alan. If you know me, welcome back. If you don't, settle in. This is another Proof of Life here in Davao, Philippines. Today is Sunday, April 5, 2026. I'm sitting at 9:42 in the PM, Filipino time. I've seen a few troublesome articles, and I've had some friends reach out and ask me, hey, if I'm okay. And it occurred to me, well, that's something I can talk about. Some folks might be interested, especially if, you're just curious what the state of affairs is here, or if you're thinking about coming for a visit. So, the bad news. I like starting with the bad news first, because I'm a sadistic prick. So, the bad news. And this is not something I want to make light of at all. As far as what the state of affairs are here in the Philippines and how it's affected by the war and the oil crisis caused by the war in Iran. The the folks here in the Philippines who are in the bottom 30% of the income bracket are the ones who are suffering the most. Like, that's just true. There are going to be deaths and needless suffering in that income bracket because of the war and the shortages that it is causing and that it will cause. So, first, let's just get that out of the way and make sure that that's super clear. Is the Philippines and are the Philippine Islands being affected by the war in Iran? 100%. Marcos declared that state of emergency for energy, and he was right to do so. He originally gave us about 45 days until fuel ran out, which is a scary number because that'll come up on you real fast. And then we had a Russian oil tanker come in, and that pushed the due date out to like end of June. Now, in that time, the Department of Foreign Affairs has managed to reach out to Iran, and the Philippines has officially inked a deal with Iran. And no, I do not know the particulars. What I do know is that ships that are flagged for the Philippines are now permitted up and down the Strait of Hormuz for oil and such. So that will help. Does it alleviate all the problems? No, sir, ma'am, and in between, it does not. I want to say after you convert pesos to dollars and liters to gallons, diesel here is sitting at well over $7 a gallon. If you didn't hear that the first time, diesel is well over $7 a gallon here. And that impacts literally everything because all the ferries run on diesel, all the transport runs on diesel. The trucks here obviously all run on diesel. So, foodstuffs, really anything that has to get moved, the price goes up. And that's just from living on an oil based economy like we do. So, for example, boy, 2 weeks ago, we could get a 25 kilo bag of rice for around 1350 pesos. And now it's 100 pesos more. That's $2 more basically for like 1450 pesos, 1450. And that's a smallest shift. Like, things really, the shortages haven't really been felt yet. That is going to be compounded by the fertilizer shortage, but not as much here where I am as, say, the U.S. The Philippines, much like the rest of the world, the Philippines does get the chemicals for fertilizers from Qatar, and I probably mispronounced that. Please forgive me. But they also source fertilizer from other countries in the area. So while we are impacted here, it's not as much. Now, I'm north of Davao, up between Mintal and Catalunya Grande, which is to say, I'm not in the provinces, but I'm also not in the city. I'm kind of right in between. And that means there's a lot of agriculture around me. So while I am certain there are people who are affected, like especially folks in cities, especially in the northern islands like Luzon, around Manila, they're probably feeling the food prices more than I am. They're probably feeling the food shortages more than I am. I There are things here that impact me though, like Andy and I. We have to go to a couple different stores in order to resupply, do our monthly resupply. Like there are foreigners in the area when a crisis comes up and you go to the store and all the toilet paper is sold out because Filipinos don't really buy it. So to me, that was I could have been mad about it, but mostly it made me laugh because it just tells me there's more foreigners around the area than I've seen. But things like that, or it's harder to get bread right now because people are stocking up. Things are uncertain, and I forget who I said it to or when I said it, but much like I have throughout my life, I accidentally spoke a great truth when I was making a suggestion to a friend, and that is that uncertainty is expensive. And the world is in such a massively uncertain place right now that just everything is going to be more expensive. Money wise, time wise, labor wise, attention wise. Um, Uncertainty is expensive, man. And that's where we are. And so we're feeling that here. The thing that hasn't impacted me yet, but I am keeping an eye on, is the helium shortage. And I'm sure you're probably saying, "What, Alan?" Like, well, okay, let me break that out for you a little bit. Uh, Helium isn't just for balloons or for making you talk in a funny voice. All right, it's also used for the production of a lot of electronics. And if you know anything about the Philippines, electronics are just as expensive. It's one of the few items that are just as expensive here as it is in the US, if not more so. The helium shortage because Strait of Hormuz has been closed and the Red Sea will be getting closed shortly because of the Houthi support of Iran. That's going to cause problems. Like electronics going to be harder to get, as if they weren't already because of this AI nonsense. That's a different story. And I'm happy to talk about that if folks are super interested in my take on AI. Just drop a comment, let me know. Also, hit that like button and subscribe, you bastards. I see you looking, but I've only got like 22 subscribers, so I know you're just passing through. Nah, I'm hassling you a little bit. Anyways, back to helium. Helium's also used in MRIs. And folks, like you may not know this, dear viewer, but there are folks who come out to the Philippines for medical procedures because they're cheaper. Medical and dental procedures because it's cheaper here. It's literally cheaper to take a flight out here, pay for the medical procedure out of pocket, and fly home than it is to have the procedure done in the US. Like this is a true thing, and feel free to fact check me. But if you find yourself in a position where you need an MRI, don't come. You need helium to make those MRI machines run, and that helium shortage is going to hit everybody. That means that unless you need that MRI right now, you aren't going to be getting one later. There's also certain dental technique, like I would need to talk to a dental assistant or a dentist to give you better information. But I am aware of certain drillless dental techniques that require helium. I'm assuming it's for lasers. I'm probably wrong. But this is going to have an effect on medical procedures and dental procedures out here in the Philippines from that helium shortage. We'll probably feel it in the electronics first, and then it'll cascade out from there. And that's even if folks can get out here to the Philippines. And that's something else I wanted to touch on. Jet fuel is a huge problem right now. They're having to, I think they call it freight. Is it freight fueling or bulk fueling? What it basically means is that the planes, normally they only have enough fuel to get them from point A to point B. That's no longer the case. They have to assume that the plane will not have a chance to refuel, and so they fuel it with enough for the entire round-trip flight, which makes flights more expensive. And it also means there are simply less flights available. So longer distance travel, international travel, is harder. Trying not to burp into the mic here. It's just those flights are more infrequent and they're going to be more expensive. Again, oil-based economy. So that's a lot of the bad. Just getting it out there for you. As for the good, I mean, so yes, cost of goods is going up, cost of services is going up. If you're a foreigner over here, like so far, at least for me, I haven't been real super affected beyond just some shortages of goods that we were able to find anyways. Are things becoming more expensive? Yes. However, the currency exchange continues to favor me coming from the U.S. I think the peso is sitting at like 60.5, 60.7 pesos to the dollar right now. And just for some context, in case you don't know, it usually sits around 57, 58. So while the cost of goods is going up, how far my dollar goes is also increasing. So it's probably not a one-for-one offset, but it's close. So really, the scarcity of things affects me more than the cost of things. All right. Similarly, like getting out here is harder, and I just talked about that. But once you're here, things get easier, right? So tourism is obviously going to fall off a cliff. Like I don't think it takes it's not rocket science to figure that out, right? There will be less foreigners in the Philippines because of the restrictions on air travel. Like this is just true. All right, which means that's also going to have an effect on prices. That's going to have an effect on like things like Airbnb and on vacation stays, vacation rentals like that. So there are things that will be more expensive that you didn't anticipate, but there are things that are going to be less expensive too. And that's what I'm just finding is true. We had to go down to Davao yesterday, and I had a concern about the price of the Grab drive. Basically, it's like an Uber drive over here. But I was wary about the effect. I just clunked my watch. Yay. I was curious about the effect of the war and the oil prices on the cost of the Grab. And it isn't. It turns out Grab has said that they're not going to change their prices about regarding the oil or the cost of fuel. What that does mean, though, is that those drivers are working longer hours because the cost of refueling is on the drivers. So whereas normally those Grab drivers are working 8 to 10 hours, they're working like 14, 15, 16 hours. And I know that because Andy and I are in the car, and I started asking the guy, I'm like, hey, what's this look like for you? Because I was genuinely curious. And he was saying, yeah, it's went from an 8-hour day to like a 16-hour day. And I mean, boy, if that isn't stark raving dystopian for you, right? There's less traffic on the roads, and I don't mind I don't mind there being less traffic on the roads, but I also understand the effect that has on an economy. I remember the effect that had in Portland during COVID. Like, a lot of shops closed down because people weren't traveling, they were staying inside. This is just a different kind of needing to stay inside or needing to limit your mobility because it's so expensive to refuel, to move around. So places are more empty. Like, there's still a lot of people from what I'm seeing, but not as many. So I'll be curious to see how that winds up affecting the economy and the cost of goods. If you and I really strongly recommend that people look at other videos, other folks on YouTube, other foreigners and expats who are recording their experiences, because the experience that I'm having here in Davao is not going to be the same as someone in Cebu or Dumaguete or Manila or BGC. They are going. I promise you, they're going to have, or Iloilo. They're going to have different experiences than I am. All right. It's If you see someone saying it's terrible, it's an apocalypse, like, take that with a grain of salt. If you see someone saying it's perfect and it's paradise and nothing's wrong here, also take that with a grain of salt. The truth, as usual, lies somewhere in between. Don't If you already have your plane ticket or you're planning on getting it and standing in the airport for like 8 hours in order to get on your plane, and you're thinking, oh, damn, do I have to cancel my ticket? Do I have to cancel all my plans? Don't. You'll be fine once you get here. You really, really will. If anything, if you already have like your Airbnb booked out, just reach out. They might even let you renegotiate price. If they don't, reach out to Airbnbs around them, because I guarantee there's going to be openings. See if you can get a better price for a place to stay out here. It's not more dangerous for foreigners here. It just isn't. Like, I just had a couple of friends up in southern Luzon. They came over for a dentistry thing, the Cupolettis. They had a great time. They were out scuba diving. They took their week helping folks with their teeth, and they spent the rest of the time just scuba diving and having a hell of a good time. Perfectly fine, perfectly safe. Can you get yourself into trouble? Of course, and I've talked about this before. You can get into western Mindanao up to the north or to the southwest of Gensan, and you can get yourself into a whole lot of trouble, like, pretty quick, especially if you're being flashy with money. But by and large, you'll be fine here. If you got a vacation plan, don't cancel it. Just get out here. Keep your fingers crossed that you'll be able to make it through the TSA lines, but you'll be fine once you're here. The real answer, as far as the state of things here in the Philippines, though, is that things are uncertain. Like, I wish I could give you guys, you folks, a better defined description of the state of affairs here, but it's just too early to tell. And anybody who is definitively telling you it's this way or it's that way, like, they're either wrong, lying to you, or trying to sell something. Nothing is certain, and it's simply too early to tell. All right, like, they even have a thing from the Philippine government that's offering extensions, or they're waiving penalties for tourist visas for folks who were trying to leave and whose flights got canceled as a result of the war. So, an idea that the Philippines is suddenly hostile to tourists or foreigners or visitors is just silly. It's just nonsense. Are things more unstable? Yeah, the entire world's more unstable, man. Like, again, this isn't Fantasy Island. This is a real place. Of course it's affected. We all live in this closed system called Earth. And what happens in Iran in the Strait of Hormuz, what happens in the Red Sea, what happens in this war with Iran, that's a global event, man. And of course it affects the Philippines. Of course it does. Don't let that deter you from coming out here, though. At least, and again, from my perspective. And like, I'm a big older white guy, so your mileage is probably gonna vary. You know, for me, things continue to be really good. I had a great date on Saturday with Andy. She had a great time. I had a great time. We probably spent more money than we should have, but got to relax for the weekend, eat some good food, try out our new blender, make some smoothies. She'd never really had one before, a blender, so I'm introducing her to all the fruit smoothies, you know, getting to rehash old movies that I'd seen when they first came out, but she'd never seen before, like the old Bad Boys franchise with Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, or the Born Identity series. We just wrapped that up. That was a great time. Life continues to be really good here, and eminently affordable. Anywho, that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on this time around, just to kind of get a hold of any nonsense, just to kind of get ahead of any nonsense about folks freaking out saying, "Don't come, it's terrible," or "Hey, if you come here, everything's assured." Like, it's paradise. Like, it's right in between. There's a mix of both. So just, again, set your expectations. Don't be stupid. Be respectful. And relax. Be flexible. You will have a good time here. I certainly am. Anywho, it's about dinner time for me. So I will talk to you folks later. As always, take care, be good to yourselves, and stay safe out there. I will talk to you later, folks.